A lot of times people are offering signing bonuses to come work for me.
Yeah.
And if you say, hey, I want you to come work for me, I'll give you $5,000. Can you recover that if they don't? How would you handle that? And specifically, if they leave in 6 months and the deal was for a year, can you recover it?
Legally, potentially, yes. Will you actually see any of that money back? Probably no. And I say yes, but that's with certain mechanisms in place. A lot of times the signing bonus will be paid. And where I thought you were going with the question was this amount at commencement of employment, when you come over, and then we'll pay you this amount after 6 months, this amount after a year. And again, you just want to make sure that that language is structured so that it doesn't guarantee, or the employee doesn't have some guarantee they will be, employed on that date in the future. Deductions from payroll is a separate issue that you brought up. Taking deductions from payroll is governed typically by state Department of Labor's. And so it varies state by state. For instance, in Oklahoma, you need a separate written payroll deduction agreement signed by both the employer and the employee. I try to get as specific as possible, but I would still use a form at the commencement of employment for individuals if you may have some payroll deduction issues that come up. You're looking at retail, cash shortages at the cash register. Anyone with uniforms where they're required to have some costs for uniforms, things like that. If you have if they're using tools, if you have some of those common scenarios where an issue may come up where you want to deduct from someone's payroll at some point, I would have an agreement that they sign with, their onboarding documents when they're hired, but I would also have separate agreements that they sign if you're able to do so. For example, I have, clients that want to give a loan or a payroll advance or something like that to employees. You want to make sure you have something separate signed in order to be able to make that deduction. The deduction, you can never take someone's pay below minimum wage. So even if you have everything in place and you are able to deduct appropriately under, your state laws, you still can never deduct to where an individual is not receiving at least the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage for the time that they work during a particular time period. And usually when you're looking at deductions from pay, you're looking at someone left, you're looking at a last paycheck issue. So that's why I say you may be able to put in the contract that they're obligated to pay it back. You see that with, tuition reimbursement or, clients that have a significant expense to onboard employees, as far as certification or trainings and things like that. You'll see agreements of that sort that say, the employee's obligated to, pay this back. But like I say, actually collecting that money back from an employee after they're gone is very unlikely.